1. Which of the following best demonstrates the use of context clues in determining word meaning? A. Looking up every unfamiliar word in a dictionary. B. Inferring the meaning of benevolent from the surrounding sentence. C. Ignoring unfamiliar words while reading. D. Guessing the meaning based on the first letter only. 2. Which technique is most effective for adult learners to improve reading comprehension? A. Silent reading without note-taking. B. Annotating text and summarizing key points. C. Reading as quickly as possible without pause. D. Memorizing passages word for word. 3. In evaluating a persuasive essay, which element is most critical to assess? A. The author's handwriting. B. The strength and relevance of supporting evidence. C. The length of the essay. D. The number of adjectives used. 4. Which sentence demonstrates proper subject-verb agreement? A. The list of items are on the desk. B. The teacher and the students is ready for class. C. The collection of essays is impressive. D. Neither the cat nor the dogs likes water. 5. A teacher wants to enhance critical thinking during literature discussions. Which method aligns best with adult learning principles? A. Asking students to memorize character names. B. Using open-ended questions that require analysis and evaluation. C. Limiting discussion to factual recall. D. Assigning reading without follow-up discussion. 6. Which rhetorical device is used when an author repeats the initial consonant sounds in a series of words? A. Metaphor. B. Alliteration. C. Hyperbole. D. Personification. 7. In assessing a student's argumentative essay, which criterion is most relevant for evaluation? A. Use of at least 10 long words. B. Clarity of thesis and logical flow of supporting arguments. C. Number of pages. D. Handwriting style. 8. Which strategy most effectively supports comprehension for English language learners? A. Pre-teaching vocabulary and using visual aids. B. Reading aloud only once without explanation. C. Avoiding discussion to prevent confusion. D. Assigning only advanced texts. 9. Which of the following is an example of an idiom? A. Break the ice. B. Run quickly. C. She is tall. D. Write a sentence. 10. When mentoring a new teacher in curriculum development, which approach reflects best practice? A. Provide feedback based on observed teaching and student outcomes. B. Allow them to design lessons without any guidance. C. Critique only after the semester ends. D. Focus solely on textbook adherence. 11. Which of the following best illustrates the use of an unreliable narrator in literature? A. A narrator who provides detailed factual accounts. B. A narrator whose credibility is questionable and subjective. C. A third-person omniscient narrator. D. A narrator who never interacts with characters. 12. What is the primary purpose of formative assessment in ELA instruction? A. To assign final grades. B. To guide instruction and improve student learning. C. To publish results publicly. D. To rank students competitively. 13. Which sentence exemplifies proper use of a semicolon? A. I went to the store, I bought apples. B. I went to the store, I bought apples. C. I went to the store, I bought apples. D. I went to the store, I bought apples. 14. Which literary element is being used when an author gives human traits to non-human objects? A. Irony. B. Personification. C. Foreshadowing. D. Simile. 15. In evaluating a writing curriculum, which component is most important for regulatory compliance? A. Alignment with state ELA standards and learning outcomes. B. Number of worksheets provided. C. Use of colorful fonts. D. Variety of classroom decorations. 16. Which strategy is most effective in teaching students to analyze informational text? A. Modeling how to identify main ideas, supporting details, and text structure. B. Reading the text aloud without explanation. C. Skipping challenging sections. D. Only providing the conclusion of the text. 17. Which sentence demonstrates correct pronoun antecedent agreement? A. Each student must submit their homework on time. B. Each student must submit his or her homework on time. C. Each student must submit them homework on time. D. Each student must submit its homework on time. 18. Which type of assessment best measures higher order thinking skills in ELA? A. Multiple choice questions requiring recall. Essays analyzing themes, arguments, or literary devices. C. True-false questions. D. Spelling tests. 19. Which term refers to the overall message or lesson in a literary work? A. Plot. B. Theme. C. Setting. D. Characterization. 20. A student writes, "The dog ran fast and it was happy." Which revision improves sentence variety? A. The dog ran fast and it was happy. B. Happy was the dog that ran fast. The dog ran fast, it seemed joyful. D. The dog happy ran fast and fastly. 21. When mentoring new ELA teachers, which approach best supports professional growth? A. Observing teaching, providing constructive feedback, and modeling best practices. B. Criticizing every lesson without guidance. C. Allowing them to teach without evaluation. D. Assigning only reading tasks. 22. Which writing technique emphasizes showing rather than telling? A. Using descriptive sensory details in dialogue. B. Listing events without description. C. Writing only in passive voice. D. Using abstract concepts exclusively. 23. Which of the following is an example of an objective summary? A. The book was boring and I hated it. B. The story follows a young girl who overcomes obstacles to achieve her goal. C. I like the main character's outfit. D. The plot was exciting and dramatic. 24. In curriculum development, which method ensures differentiation for diverse learners? A. Providing tiered assignments and scaffolding instruction. B. Assigning identical work to all students. C. Ignoring learning differences. D. Reducing the curriculum content arbitrarily. 25. Which strategy most effectively enhances vocabulary acquisition for adult learners? Using new words in context and engaging in repeated practice. B. Memorizing word lists without application. C. Avoiding new words to prevent confusion. D. Reading only once without discussion. 26. Which is the most effective way to evaluate a student's persuasive writing skills? A. Assess clarity of argument, evidence, audience awareness, and organization. B. Count the number of words in the essay. C. Focus solely on grammar. D. Judge based on handwriting. 27. Which sentence demonstrates correct parallel structure? A. She likes reading, to swim, and biking. B. She likes reading, swimming, and biking. C. She likes read, swimming, and to bike. D. She likes reading, swimming, and to swim. 28. Which type of figurative language is used in the sentence? Life is a roller coaster of emotions. A. Simile. B. Metaphor. C. Hyperbole. D. Personification. 29. When providing feedback on a student essay, which approach aligns with adult learning principles? A. Highlight strengths, identify areas for improvement, and offer specific suggestions. B. Only correct errors without explanation. C. Focus solely on spelling and grammar. D. Give feedback in a public forum without consent. 30. Which reading strategy supports comprehension of complex texts? A. Previewing headings, subheadings, and key terms before reading. B. Reading without pausing. C. Skipping challenging sections. D. Memorizing passages. 31. Which is an example of an effective learning objective for an ELA lesson? A. Students will identify and analyze metaphors in a poem to support interpretation. B. Students will read the poem silently. C. Students will memorize the poem's title. D. Students will write one sentence about the poem. 32. Which sentence correctly uses a colon? A. She bought apples, oranges, and bananas. B. She bought the following fruits: apples, oranges, and bananas. C. She bought the following fruits: apples, oranges, and bananas. D. She bought the following fruits: apples, oranges, and bananas. 33. Which method best encourages metacognition during reading instruction? A. Asking students to reflect on their thought process and comprehension strategies. B. Reading silently without reflection. C. Skipping discussion questions. D. Relying solely on multiple choice quizzes. 34. When coaching adult learners to analyze figurative language and complex texts, which instructional strategy best supports long-term retention? A. Providing a list of definitions to memorize. B. Using comparative text sets where learners identify patterns of figurative use. C. Assigning lengthy essays without guided prompts. D. Having learners identify figurative language individually with no feedback. 35. A facilitator wants to evaluate adult learners' mastery of argument writing standards in ELA. Which assessment method most effectively measures higher order reasoning? A. Multiple choice quiz focused on grammar rules. B. A timed writing prompt requiring evidence-based claims and counterclaims. C. A worksheet matching vocabulary terms to definitions. D. A fill-in-the-blank exercise using transitional words.